Yo, what's going on, guys? We are back with episode 2 of the Backcourt Boys. I am joined with Ben and Ethan. We have a lot of NBA news to get into, whether it's the DeAndre Ayton or the Summer League that just wrapped up. We're going to get started on DeAndre Ayton. Obviously, the Pacers offer sheeted him, but then pretty quickly the Suns matched that. So, boys, what do we think?
Yeah, so this was a pretty big story, and I think it's going to have a pretty big ripple effect. The Pacers offered him the largest contract sheet in NBA history, which I think people were a little bit surprised about, but it's a smart move on the Pacers. Front pair up a good center with Tyrese Halliburton. I thought they could have had something special there. Just so happens that the Suns out of nowhere decide to match that. I'm not sure why the Suns were waiting this long. I don't know if you guys have an answer to that or any speculation, but it's just like DeAndre Ayton, career 16-10 on 60%, bona fide like superstar, I'd say. He's just a solid center for the number one overall pick. You know what you're getting out of him. So I'm not sure why the Suns were so hesitant to offer a max to him. But it's just like, I mean, you get your core back, you get Ayton, Booker, and CP3. Hopefully CP3 could stay healthy and you get one more run at that championship. It's a solid move for the Suns. I thought it could have been great for the Pacers.
Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I don't really know exactly why they don't believe he's a max player. There must be some internal stuff. At the end of the season when they were getting eliminated in the playoffs, there was that interesting thing where Ayton was sitting on the bench in crucial time, and Monty Williams was asked why he was on the bench, and he said it's internal. So there must be some things that we don't know on some ripples between Ayton in the front office and Monty Williams, but I do think it's interesting. I don't really understand why they want to pay Chris Paul, but don't want to pay Ayton. Like, your window's kind of closing in this next year, maybe, with Chris Paul fizzling out. And then you're not going to pay the guy that could be your franchise center for another 5, 6, 8 years. I don't really understand it. But what I thought was interesting is supposedly now that they signed him for the 4-year max and not the 5-year max, they're supposedly able to get a second designated rookie extension guy because Ayton didn't sign the 5-year max. So Booker is technically the only guy. So they can technically trade Ayton or trade someone else, trade CP3, I don't know, for another
Young guy.
designated rookie max extension guy, which I thought, like, contractually, it seems like it doesn't mean much. But if we're looking at this Ben Simmons situation, trying to get the Bam Adebayo, contracts, this stuff kind of matters for teams that are trying to contend and move some good players. So I don't know, maybe that's it, but.
Yeah, it's just who's going to take on CP3 contract. I know he's only got I think he's got 2 years left on that contract, maybe 1 year. I'm not positive, but who's going to take on that contract for a young star? It'd have to be I don't know. There's probably a team out there that maybe do it. What'd you say, Mike?
It'd have to be like a million picks.
Yeah, you'd have to attach so much to him, but I do think that's interesting. Mike, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I honestly, Ben, I didn't even realize that with the rookie extensions. My thing is, the Suns probably always knew they'd offer sheet whatever. They were just playing the market in terms of will someone give him a max? Will he sign I think they maybe thought oh, he's going to sign 4 years, 120, right below the max instead of 4 years, 33 million. So I think internally they knew they were going to bring him back. They just wanted kind of to, I think they literally told him go out and try to see how much you can get almost. And we're basically going to match it. But we want to have some leverage and not give you this max. We still have leverage over you in terms of you're not leaving. You're going to stay because yes, I always thought it was so weird. People were oh, he's gone. I'm no way a 23-year-old center that's again 16 and 10, on a title. If this was the Suns 5 years ago when they sucked, I could see them just being whatever. You just don't blow up this core, especially how successful they've been the past 2 years. That's my thoughts on it.
One interesting tidbit about this, and it's going to have a ripple effect that we already seen it with the Nets. He can veto any trade because he got matched by the Suns. He can veto any trade for the next year, and they can trade him till January 15th. So like you said, Mike, I think they knew in the back of their mind they were going to sign him to that offer sheet if he was offered by another team. I don't think they ever planned on really offering a deal with DeAndre Ayton in it, maybe for Kevin Durant. But now that they did offer this match sheet, he can't go anywhere until January 15th. So those rumors to Brooklyn for KD are just poof, gone like the wind.
Yeah, I never really liked the fit for KD and the Suns because you probably would have had to trade Ayton and Mitchell. And this thing that makes the Suns so good is not just Devin Booker and CP3's offense. It's that they have those long athletic wings and DeAndre Ayton down low. So while definitely getting KD would be a talent add, I think it's just small for them to just keep the core of Bridges, Booker, and Ayton. So from that perspective, I think it's kind of good for them. What about you, Ben?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I agree with that. Honestly, I kind of want to talk about from the Pacers' perspective. So when they offered the contract, there was no player option and no trade kicker, which are two usual things where if franchises usually want to go out and really get a guy and take him from that other team, they're including whatever they need just to disincentivize the original franchise from wanting to match it. And they didn't include anything in there. So honestly, it's kind of like they were putting one foot in, one foot out. I don't really know why. Maybe it's just they're just trying to prove to their franchise and the league or their fan base and the league that they're serious about getting good. They're serious about acquiring young talent around Mathurin and Halliburton. But I don't know. I just thought it was interesting, kind of like a half-ass move, not including any of those other things in that contract, so that it really made it a no-brainer for the Suns to sign it back.
It's so hypothetical. I would have loved that though. Halliburton and Ayton for the next 8+ years in Indiana. If they both stayed healthy, that would have been awesome to see. Because I loved when the Pacers were good when they were battling with the Heat. They kind of fell off after that. But on another note, what do you guys think the Suns are going to do this year? Because I know I sent in the group chat last night. Their win total is 52.5. I think they blow by that. They're like the most OP regular season team if Chris Paul's healthy. Even with that, when they lost Devin Booker and Chris Paul to injury, they were still just blowing teams out, winning games. I don't know. It all depends on CP3's health. We could all say that, right? Because he was just kind of a pretty big liability in that Dallas series. They were just attacking him. I know he was getting dragged by Pat Beverly. They were calling him a cone, just a defensive liability, which I didn't personally like. Pat Bev calling him out like that. But I still think that they can be a finals team. I mean, they have the pieces. It's just all about they got to have some like mental solitude to rebound from that collapse last year.
Yeah, I'm definitely hammering that over, but I don't think they're going to be like that because I think they're kind of at the phase where like they had that finals run, then they had the fantastic regular season. I really don't think they're going to care about the regular season like next year. You see with some of these teams, once they're like established, it becomes they start resting, they start doing that. Like, who cares if they go if they're not going 73-9 or 78 or 70? What am I saying? 74-8.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't really matter, and especially with a guy like CP3, wouldn't shock me if he set out a ton. D-Book, he's seen the playoffs. He doesn't really care about the regular season anymore. So from that perspective, I still think they're going to be like a 57-win team, but you're going to see like I wouldn't be shocked if like Memphis has a better record because they're still like so hungry and so like want to prove it, but they're still going to be loaded. And I do think they're going to be like a Western Conference Finals team next year.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Mike. And I think the biggest reason why is because their leader and Chris Paul showed that he kind of ran out of gas, or maybe multiple things went wrong for him for how bad he performed. Those last couple games, which was kind of out of place for him. But he's like 38 years old, 37 years old, I believe. He kind of slowed down, ran out of gas last playoffs, and he was their guy that was really pushing the motor all regular season. So I think this is the season where he maybe reins it back to try to have more win for the playoffs, to not have that collapse that they had last season. So I think that's going to be the main reason why they maybe slide from the overwhelming 1 seed to maybe the 2 or the 3 behind a younger Grizzlies or some team like that.
Yeah, the one thing that always concerned me about the Suns is their bench. I mean, the only real threat that can score or get hot, Cam Johnson. He can hit 5 threes in a postseason game if he wants. They just don't have like a sixth man, I would say. I don't know what you guys think. I just don't see outside of their top 5 of, Crowder, Ayton, Paul, Booker, Bridges, somebody that can go. And if one of those guys are struggling, can slide into that starting lineup and kind of help them out.
Yeah, it is a problem. Like, I love Cam Johnson as like a UNC guy, but he's not really like running an offense or like truly creating a shot. He's more of like a complimentary piece in terms of like a knockdown shooter. Maybe they get busy at the deadline when like come February they address that problem. But yeah, that seems to be their bench is definitely probably the worst out of the contenders right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I specifically am not a campaign guy. That guy, I do not like him.
Let's not do any campaign slander. He's a Thunder legend.
All right. Well, the Thunder have rotated like 300 players the last like 5 years.
Yeah, that's why we love them all, though.
Yeah.
Their own shot. Do we want to hop into Summer League real quick and talk about the first team? Let's start out with Cam Thomas. this kid, I had him as a lottery pick 2 years ago when he was in the draft. This kid was just put on earth to do one thing, and that's to get buckets. He kind of struggled, I would say, his first year shooting from three. That the one thing about Cam Thomas is like he's gonna get you buckets, but he's also just gonna take some unbelievably stupid shots. And you saw that in his 3-point percentage. I think he shot like 28% from three. Pretty uncharacteristic. He's just a high volume guy that can get hot, but he showed out in the summer league, so kudos to him. I just think he needs to get a little more consistent, and it's good that he's on a team, where they have KD and Kyrie, so he's kind of just asked to be like the flamethrower guy that can come get 15 off the bench. But really happy to see him on first team. Hope he could take the next step in his game.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever going to be like. Oh wait,
Mike, you got it.
I don't ever think that he's going to be like a 20-plus point scorer in the NBA, but he's going to be like a solid, either starting or like that sixth man that like the Suns need in terms of like can get you 15, 16. But he might be also that guy that like either wins you a game or loses you a game, shoots, as LeVar says, shoot you at the damn ball game. But yeah, I really like him. I had him as like a lottery pick. I thought he was going to be solid. And yeah, especially on a Brooklyn Nets kind of team that's going to have the Kyrie, Kate, or maybe not, I don't know anymore, but might have KD and Kyrie next year. He will be a great sixth man for them because he's just so good at creating his own shot. It's honestly a treat to watch.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't take long to realize that he's a bucket. He averaged like 27 and 4. Parts of me think that he should get a bigger role off the bench this year, but I'm looking at their roster and they're just loaded with small flamethrower guys, as you said, Ethan. I believe that they start Kyrie if assuming they don't make much moves. I'm assuming Kyrie starts at the 1. They got to choose between Seth Curry and Joe Harris at the 2. I'm assuming they put Royce O'Neal in at the 3 for defense. KD at the 4, Simmons at the small ball 5. That leaves the benches Mills, either Seth or Harris, which one you didn't choose, Cam Thomas, TJ Warren, and Kessler Edwards. All literally flamethrower shooter scorers with no size. So as much as I think that like he could be like, I don't know, they just have an abundance of that kind of player. So I don't know if they are going to include these types of guys in moves with all the stuff that's being rumored, but I don't know. I think as much as I almost want him to go to another team to really show off his isolation scoring that he may not honestly get here because there's just too much. There's just too much of those kind of guys in Brooklyn for me.
Yeah, maybe if he went somewhere kind of low key like Houston, just like could show out next to Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green. On the topic of the Rockets, let's hop into Tari Eason. So like Cam Thomas, I had this guy lottery on my big board for this year. He got drafted kind of later than lottery, but not too late in the first round. This kid at LSU is just an absolute specimen. Average 16 and 6, can bang out. Like you said, Ben, his game though is so raw. Houston's not the spot to do it, but if he just learns how to like comprehend the game of basketball, he's going to be a really good NBA player.
Yeah, honestly. So, yeah, he averaged like 17 points on like 45% from the field, 33% from 3, 10 rebounds, almost 2 steals in like 27 minutes, which is all great numbers. But when you really watch him, yeah, he's just – I can't get past how raw he is. He has some strong takes to the basket with his physical frame. But then the finish, he tries to do some like leaning, one-handed finger roll, and it just – sometimes the result is just ugly. But when you watch him shoot from 3, it's not terrible. His free throw shooting form is smooth, which is usually a big indicator on where they can develop from their like perimeter game. So I think he can develop. Right now, he kind of has that Jayshawn Tate, which kind of vibe, 3-and-D, physical guy. So I do think he can develop, but usually being an athlete in today's NBA will definitely help you out. And it's all just about the development. So hopefully he can keep going.
I think he's way more talented than Jayshawn Tate. You'd agree, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like, what he is right now.
Yeah, okay. Mike?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I didn't watch a ton of the Rockets or him in college. But, I mean, as we said before, like in the last episode, outside of the lottery, you're really just striving for, like, potential. And he has, like, bounds and leaps of it. So, especially with Houston, who has, like, a decent young core brewing to take a chance on a guy like Tari Eason, I like it a lot.
Yeah. All right. So let's hop into another player. I'm going to save my Seton Hall guy for next. So let's talk about Quentin Grimes real quick. So it's kind of funny. You see, Knicks accounts on Twitter, like adding the Jazz, adding Salt Lake City, saying, hey, look at this guy. He's really good. Quentin Grimes had an okay rookie year, I would say. He showed out this summer league. Some were saying that he should have been the MVP over Keegan Murray. You're kind of splitting hairs. For a guy that wasn't drafted in the top 5, maybe you give it to him, but it's summer league. It holds little to nothing. He showed out, showed he can shoot the 3, showed he can create, showed he can get his own shot. I'm curious to see where he fits in on this Knicks team. I would say he's going to be, first 7 off the bench, that 7th man role. But other than that, I'm not really sure where he goes from there.
Yeah, I mean, he's a solid player. I don't think he's like a prime piece in a Donovan Mitchell trade. That's just like pure smoke.
That's what some people think he's gonna be, though.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely like RJ Barrett will be like the prime piece in a Donovan Mitchell trade probably. But yeah, I mean, looking at his stats last year, he averaged like a solid 6. She shot the 3 ball pretty well at like 38%. So I think he's definitely a young piece, but like most New York prospects that show like any like glimmer of hope, like he's going to get way overhyped, and that probably will hurt him in the long run. But, yeah, I really like his game. I liked his game in high school. He was a freak athlete. Houston, he really, refined his skills. And, yeah, I don't think he has, crazy upside, but could he definitely be, a starting 2 in the NBA, get you, 15 a game, play solid, give you 3 and D? Yeah, definitely. I'm a fan of him.
Yeah, I'm definitely a fan of what he showed in his development. I think his original thing was 3 and D, which Thibodeau loves. But I feel like in this, what kind of took him to the next level in this summer league was that he improved on his playmaking development. But once again, as we're talking about overhyping Knicks prospects, he did average 4.2 assists, but he averaged 3.5 turnovers. So that playmaking development, as much as if you're looking at the positives and the highlights, the behind the back passes and the over the head passes, it looks good. But if we're getting in a real NBA game with some defense, I don't know how good he is yet. But I feel like the Knicks already have D Rose, Quickly, Brunson, Barrett, and they have an overload of bigs, which I'm assuming that they're gonna play a big lineup to negate their expected bad backcourt defense. So I guess he's gonna move up in his role, but with his good defense, which Thibodeau loves, as I said. But I don't know. I think they're going to play a big lineup, and he's either going to have to beat out, D Rose quickly for some minutes. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, and we all know it's the notorious joke that Tibbs hates the young guys. I wouldn't say he necessarily hates them. He just doesn't play them. They have Cam Reddish too. I think he's still got potential, something left to give. It's just an NBA team that needs to give him a chance. He showed out for the Hawks when they actually were playing him. But yeah, Quentin Grimes, I think, I don't understand how a package of him, Toppin, Quickly, I think actually has the most potential and ceiling out of all of them by far. But I don't see how those 3 and picks gets a Donovan Mitchell deal done. If I'm Utah, it's what do I gain out of that? The only player that actually has all-star potential and not even is Emmanuel Quickly.
Yeah, Quickly's I think at best it's a
starting
bottom, 2, a mid-third starting point guard, top 22 to 17, not even top 15 point guard.
Yeah, so if I'm Utah, it's simple. It's RJ Barrett, which the Knicks I don't think should do. There's reports that maybe 8 first rounds. Why would you do that? You're giving up 8 years of assets for one player. I love Donovan Mitchell, but I just wouldn't do that if I was the Knicks. And on Utah's side, I don't think a Quentin Grimes, Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quickly, and picks package gets that done whatsoever. So let's hop into a guy that was on the all first team at the forward position that I'm a little too familiar with. You guys could start us off here. Let's talk about Sandro Mamukelashvili.
You sure you don't want to start with this?
No, I'll finish off.
Yeah, I mean he's one of those European big men, kind of like the future of the NBA. And I like his game a lot. He plays a very poised game. He's very intelligent. You don't really see that a lot with players of his size, and he does it all. It'll be interesting to see how he factors into the Bucks lineup because they do have a decent amount of bigs. But Yeah, I like the future. I like the future for him. Again, not that high of a ceiling. What is he now? Like 23, 24? Because
He's
he was
yeah,
like,
he's pretty old because he got
yeah.
drafted after his senior year.
So like, yeah, maybe he could get 10, 15 minutes this year and just be consistent, a consistent kind of swing for them. But yeah, I like his game.
Yeah, yeah. Average 17, 9, 2.5 assists. My biggest thing is like I don't know too much about him. Honestly, I didn't watch much Hall ball. Not gonna lie.
That's a shame.
Um, but yeah, my thing is if he's gonna have a career in the NBA, especially with the current team he's on, the Bucks, and how they're currently constructed, what's his role gonna be? And honestly, I'm just kind of leaving that up to you because I don't really know how he fits in. Maybe it's just the Bucks fit right now because of their overload of forwards and 7-footers. But if he were to go to a team that fits, like, could you find one or explain how that fits? Because honestly, I just want to know.
Yeah, so I think Milwaukee was like not the perfect fit, but the perfect place to go and like mature as a player. They have great development. So the big thing about Mamu is what we called him at Seton Hall and what a lot of people call him just because his last name is so hard to pronounce. Um, he's developed every single year at Seton Hall, which is great to see. So I think you could kind of see that in his NBA career. His junior to senior year jump was unbelievable at Seton Hall. I think you could see kind of that similar jump coming this year. It's just, yeah, where are the minutes going to come from? Because he's kind of log jammed, behind Brolo, Bobby Portis, Giannis. So he might be just like a backup big, but he has the tools. The one thing that I see a lot of people say, and I agree with, he can't play defense for his life. So I know Bud doesn't really like that. He likes his bigs to be able to bang down low. He's kind of, I wouldn't say scared of contact, but would just rather, play out on the wing, create for others. He's just one of those international guys that can kind of do a little bit of everything on offense, can dribble, can shoot, can, use the post to get to his move. He had that nice poster against the Celtics in that summer league game that went kind of viral. But yeah, I just don't know where he technically fits in on that Bucks team. I think he should get minutes because I think he's shown that he can contribute definitely on the summer league team, and I'm rooting for him. It's just bad fit right now on the Bucks constructed roster.
Yeah, that defense is is a big problem, especially in today's like guard heavy NBA. No coach is really gonna like throw out a forward that can't defend to create like as your eighth man. They're not gonna be like Mamu, like here's the ball and get out of the way. They want like a role player like a Bobby Portis to kind of fit their role and kind of be a side piece versus Mamu. In order to be effective, he kind of needs the ball in his hands.
I don't know. After that dunk, I might say, Giannis, slide to the corner, brother.
The one thing that's crazy is I love that he's a lefty, and he's actually kind of like ambidextrous. He uses his right hand a good chunk of the time. That dunk just went absolutely viral, and I mean when he's like perfect right now in the NBA for like the last like week of the season when the Bucks have already locked in like the 2 seed or 1 seed wherever they're standing in the playoffs, and they just throw like Mamu and Thanasis after the Kupo in there, and they just both go for like 20 and 10 and just absolutely show out. So I hope that he can get a
couple
chance.
More million on the contract after.
Yeah,
that.
I hope he gets converted to a fully guaranteed because right now he's on a 2-way. I think he deserves a fully guaranteed. Yeah. But last off, the best player in summer league, Keegan Murray. We talked about him a good amount in our first episode. We thought that he's going to be a solid NBA player for 10 plus years, good 3-and-D guy. He just showed that he can absolutely do a little bit of everything in summer league. Could shoot the three at a high clip, could play defense. I thought the one thing that was encouraging, he was getting really active on defense, intercepting passing lanes, getting deflections. What do you guys think about Keegan Murray?
I'll have a hot take. He will be a better player than Jaden Ivey. I'm saying it now. Saying it now. His game's a lot more well-rounded and good. Ivy, again, we're talking about like I forget who was with like live or die by them. I feel like Ivy, especially as a second option, is going to be a little like dicey for the Pistons. I think Keegan Murray is going to have like so much free reign this year with the Kings. And again, he's only he's the same age as Jaden Ivey. Yeah, so it's not even like Ivy's like that much younger. I like his game. So he's literally like a fantastic modern NBA player. Does it literally all. So I'm saying he's going to be better than Jaden Ivey.
Yeah, but wait, are we talking about is he going to be better?
All career. Next year, obviously.
All right. Yeah, I don't. It's an interesting take. I don't hate it. Yeah, he's definitely proved he's ready. So you're right. Let's just see if he can plug in and if he can move the needle from being a 31 team last year to a 35-40 win team.
Oh, they're still going to suck next year, no doubt.
But no, well, to give context, I don't think Murray himself's going to get the Kings 10 more wins.
Yeah.
But the team looked way better after the deadline on February 8th when they got the Sabonis trade. So, combination of just their new developing additions of their roster, can they have a little eight win swing maybe? So I don't know. We'll see.
All depends on De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis. They're the two stars, but I mean, it's just unfathomable that they have not been to the playoffs in 2 decades, almost since we've been alive. So they're just grasping for anything. And I think Keegan Murray is a good draft pick to start. I was a little shaky on the pick, but just looks like Mike said, he's going to be just a solid NBA player. You guys got anything else on Summer League before we head to the wheel?
No, I got to talk about Kenny Lofton.
hop into it.
Dude, guy's OP. Guy's actually OP.
Like I watched only 2 or 3 games of him, and obviously the last one he went off for 27.
Yeah,
he is dominant. I don't know if it'll work against NBA bigs. Like Summer League's obviously different. You got little boys running out there, but his poise and just footwork in the post is so impressive. It's miles ahead. Like you watch the Summer League, and it's like a master working in the post, and he barely gets off the ground, but he never gets blocked. It's truly amazing. He's like the anti-Zion. Zion's fat, but he's got insane bounce. Kenny Lofton just contorts his body. He does jelly lays. He's
got a nice shot too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes,
yeah. The shot is gonna be big.
I was gonna say that he's kind of like Luka Garza. Just does not. He can shoot though. Luka Garza does not translate to the NBA. Kenny Lofton, I don't know if he's gonna translate to the NBA like Mike thinks he might, but shots actually
Kenny Lofton over Jaden Ivey. I'll say it. I'll say it now. But I think he can be a good rotate. He probably won't get a lot of run on Memphis next year. Just throw him in the G League. Let him eat. Let him keep on developing.
Is he definitely going to be on the Grizzlies?
I would probably throw him in the G League.
You think they're going to give him a 2-way G League deal?
Yeah, because just my thing with second round picks and undrafted, what are they doing playing 8 minutes a night? Throw them in the G League.
The one thing too that's underrated about these kind of stocky guys, everybody loves them. They just love seeing the common man that's just overweight, kind of small, just ball out. So I think Ja was tweeting about him while he was at the game, dapping him up after he's hitting threes. I think he's just an all around feel good guy.
Man, if he's a common man, I gotta get in the kitchen.
In America, he might be with the obesity, but
that guy's a dog.
I would get a Kenny Lofton Grizzlies jersey. If he makes the team, Lofton Jr. on the back.
Instead of Ja lobbing it up to Brandon Clark for a dunk, he'll be lobbing it up to a Lofton lay.
Yeah, power lay, slap the backboard.
Yeah, he can't dunk. He'll be doing that reverse jelly lay.
Yeah.
But, all right, guys, episode 2. We're back for our second wheel of all time. So we had favorite NBA jersey last time. We took that off. We threw on favorite mixtape from basketball. We also have favorite finals matchup. NBA hot take could be today, could be all time, and overrated stat. So, boys, let's get into it. Let's spin that wheel. Oh, and we get NBA hot take.
Oof.
I could start us off if you boys.
Yeah, shoot.
All right. Maybe I'm biased. I think Russell Westbrook's easily top 5 point guard to ever play the game of basketball. I don't people might crucify me for that, but my top 5 is Magic, Steph, Isaiah Thomas, John Stockton, Russell Westbrook. So the only one, you could you could say Steve Nash, Jason Kidd are better. CP3 is not better than Russell Westbrook, in my opinion. The athleticism. True point guard, you could say that, sure, but Russell Westbrook plays point guard, and the accolades and the things that he does at that position, we'll just never see again. He's kind of heroes if he stayed healthy, I would say. Just absolute specimen of an athlete that happens to dribble the ball up for an NBA team. But when it's all said and done, the accolades that he has, the All-NBAs, the MVP, the triple-doubles, I don't understand the triple-double slander. You guys could highlight on that if you want. But it's if it was so easy, everybody would do it. I truly think it's as simple as that. Maybe he was getting, some rebounds from Steven Adams. I really don't care. I watched Thunder basketball. This man was going 150% after KD left. I'll never see a player play like that with that intensity again. So just out of the respect that I have for the man as a player, he's a top 5 point guard of all time.
Yeah, I'd probably have him 6. I'm like kind of a Steve Nash like stan. Like he's like the reason I wore 13 growing up. Like I loved his game, has the 2 MVPs. But yeah, I probably agree with that CP3 Westbrook take. I think if CP3 has like another 2 or 3 really good seasons, like adds to that longevity in the Suns, make a Western Conference Finals or another Finals, then I think maybe I'd flip that. Right now it's really close. Before 2 years ago, it was clearly Russell Westbrook though, but then like one went down, one went up. So yeah, that I'd say that's a hot take, but it's understandable.
Yeah, I don't mean to make this first take out here, but I'm a CP3 guy. If I want to win games, I'm taking CP3. That's just me.
My rebuttal for that is like obviously CP3's ultimate winner that's happened to never actually win.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
I saw it happen with my OKC Thunder. Actually, just absurd season we had when CP3 came. The only thing I would say is like Russ that year after KD left was the only reason why we were relevant and why we competed for a playoff spot. Just playing out of his mind. LA is kind of an anomaly. There was a lot that went wrong. Russ did not play up to his standards whatsoever, but there was a lot more than just Russ that went wrong that past year. When he went to Washington, he single-handedly brought them to a playoff spot. The numbers that he was putting up, so like I kind of agree with CP3 is definitely a better winner, but I think it's kind of like not negligent, but just like we can't pass over the fact that Russell Westbrook doesn't impact winning. I think he does personally.
Yes, yeah. Here's my final rebuttal on that, which is kind of agreeing with you. I'd say if you're a team who just lost Kevin Durant, or a team who you want a one-man show to take you to a 6 seed, 5 seed, at playing at his best, just going one man all out. Russell Westbrook is your guy. He plays so hard, as you said, and can really carry in that position. But when I'm talking about I want a team to get there, and then I feel good about them doing something while there. I'm taking Chris Paul as an ex kind of point guard playmaker when I used to be in my playing days, my heyday. I can't stand watching some of Westbrook's decisions with the ball, and I just don't feel like that can like translate to like the mentality of what happens in the finals, what happens in the conference finals. Like that stuff can just really tank, and I think Chris Paul's just a better decision maker, so that's who I want at the helm at point guard.
Respect. Yeah, it's all opinion based. So I can't knock you for stating your opinion. But Ben, you want to hop into your hot take?
Yeah, my hot take. This was kind of a off the cuff, off the whim one. Didn't bring too much thought in it. But I'm going to say the 2021 NBA draft will be one of, if not the best, since 2003. We got Cade Cunningham, we got Jalen Green, we got Evan Mobley, we got Scotty Barnes, and we got more. I think all of those players are proving to be. Evan Mobley is bringing comparisons to the next Anthony Davis. Jalen Green is the next, 30 points per game for many years of his career. Cade Cunningham is potentially going to be maybe one of the best players in the NBA. Who knows?
I think so.
And Scotty Barnes is like, the Raptors don't even want to trade Scotty Barnes for Kevin Durant. So if we're talking value to each franchise, and I'm just talking about kind of the top 4, but I really
you're forgetting somebody.
Don't say
number 6 overall, Mr. Josh Giddey.
No, I like Giddey, but no, I really do think that top of the draft really is special, and if we're talking value to each franchise, I think I don't know, this one's gonna be special.
That's a good take. Mike, sorry to cut you off. I just wanted to say real quick. I was going to send earlier in the group chat because I was looking at the 2023 draft again because, we brought up Victor this morning. That draft, I think, could be like the next 2003 draft. There's just like an otherworldly prospect. Victor, like that's kind of your LeBron James. But then you got, Cam Whitmore, the Thompson twins, just so many absolute studs. So I like that take, though, Boss. I think that's a good one.
Thank you.
Mike?
I think 2021 definitely was a great draft. But like, from my opinion, like the greatest draft in recent memory, at least 2018 was loaded.
Yeah,
Luka. I'm looking at it. Yeah, Luka, Young, Ayton, Shea, Colin Sexton's. He's hurt, whatever. Yeah. But like you have like 4 studs. Luka's arguably gonna be the best player in the NBA in like 2 years.
Yeah.
Trey
actually factors into my next take, but like I think right now that's like the gold standard since 2003.
I agree with that.
That's a very.
I had to have a hot take. All right, champ.
I like it. I like it. My hot take, speaking of Trae Young, I think the Atlanta Hawks should be in the same like tier. I think they're in tier 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals with Boston and Milwaukee.
Dude, you love this Murray trade.
They gave up like nothing.
So
They
you
got
think
a
they're better?
21, 9
Dude,
and 9.
They were bad last year.
You think they're better than the Sixers,
Miami,
Mike?
yes.
And Miami?
Oh, wait, who's the other team?
Wait, you said they're in the same
I said
tier.
they're in the same tier as Boston and Milwaukee.
So you think they're better than the Sixers and the Heat?
Well, I mean, the Sixers, we got to see with Harden. Like, he could be amazing again or he could suck. But like, I just like they're starting. What's their starting lineup? Young, Murray, DeAndre Hunter, who's very underrated. I think he put up like 18 last year.
John
Very
Collins
underrated.
and Clint
John
Capella.
Collins, you know I'm a John Collins guy. And then
Collins was hurt last year.
And their bench is pretty solid too. Like I just like they don't have that. I guess Trey could be that one superstar team player, but like their starting lineup is scary good. They got depth. I'm not saying they're gonna come out of the East, but like I expect them to be a 50. I don't know what their win over under is. I'm gonna hammer it if it's
I'm looking at it right now. I think when I said last night it was like 49, 48. It is 47 and a half.
Yeah, I'm gonna hammer that. Like, and I think they're gonna be one of those teams that are like hungry and have a lot to prove during the regular season. Obviously, in the playoffs, it's really just gonna come down to Trey. Like, if he has a bad shooting night, they lose. If he's good, they win. But like, they added Murray, who's literally like an all-star, all defense, 21. Obviously, not gonna average 21, 9 and 9 next year, but like that talent addition, I think, just takes them into the next stratosphere. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't think they're in that tier yet. I think the clear favorites in the East are, even with, I would say, the Sixers, Celtics, and Bucks, I say, are the premier top 3. The Heat are going to be solid as always. I think the Hawks are still going to be very good. Mm-hmm. The Nets, if they keep KD and Kyrie, you can't count them out. But, yeah, I mean, they're going to be very good. It's just, like, how far can Trae Young take them? That's what I'm kind of worried about. Like, if they play a team where, like Miami, that's just absolute beast on the defensive side of the ball, and they take Trae Young out of that game, where are their points coming from, really? I know they got DeJounte, so that's good, but that's kind of my only concern, Ben.
Yeah, Mike did pitch a good argument. That starting lineup is impressive, and also knowing that Bogdan's coming off the bench. But they lost Gallinari. I don't even think – is Lou Williams – is this his last year?
Yeah, he's like floating around. They lost Herter, too.
Yeah, they lost Herter. Yeah, so I really do not like their depth, but their starting lineup is pretty good. I guess I call them even with Philly. I actually love Philly's offseason moves, but every year they rope you in, and you're like, oh, they're coming out of the East this year. They're like top 2, top 3, and then they like soil it like absurdly like hard. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to put all my chips into Philly anymore because they've just let me down after a couple of years of rooting for them, and enticing me back in. But yeah, I just don't see the Hawks being on the currently constructed Nets level or the Bucks or the Celtics.
Yeah, I think after the Celtics got Brogdon, they'd probably be my number 1 in the East. But like, I'm looking at their roster right now, and I mean, they have a solid bench. They have obviously
Griffin.
Yeah, Griffin. Onyeka, I think, is someone that's going to really take another step next year and be like a solid. It wouldn't shock me if he's starting over Capella by the end of the year. It would not shock me at all. Frank Kaminsky off the bench. Aaron Holiday is an underrated backup point guard. I think he's solid. So like they don't have like a killer bench, but I think it's a step up from like the small ones.
Yeah, all right. So that was a great wheel, guys. I'm glad that we got hot take. Everyone brought some heat, some good points, some good arguments and debates. You guys have anything else before we head out for the day?
Nope.
Nothing from me.
So that was episode 2 of the Backcourt Boys. You could follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Also, shout out and Beyond Hockey. Follow Mike's Hockey TikTok. Post great content there. As always, have a great day, guys. Thanks for coming out. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Good work.